Ben, yell at her.
No.
Can she tell you?
He calls me a bitch all the time. That's enough.
Well, you know what you should stop being then.
B to the I to the TCH. B to the I to the TCH. Biatch, go biatch. Don't be one. Don't be one.
You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
So 1408. Yeah, what about it? Let's get the stats and some shit on that.
We can tell she's never done it.
Can I come in?
She brought us in. We're here now.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you want to try to do it
Oh
better.
my God. This is a complete shit show. This opening has just gone complete to hell.
I mean, most of the great ones do.
I don't think so.
Bailey, tell the people why we're here.
We are here to discuss the
Movie 1408.
the science fiction.
Are the women just on a buffer today? Like,
It's a 2007 film of science fiction.
I don't think it is science fiction.
I don't think it's...
Look at
Look
at
says
YouTube
science-
right
I don't give a fuck what YouTube says. It's a paranormal flick.
It is paranormal.
It's not science
It is-
fiction.
well,
But I mean,
he even says
psychological horror film.
There you go.
there we go.
That's
That's
accurate.
better because
It is not a sci-fi film.
There's no aliens. There's no technology. Not that kind of
No.
technology.
Shit comes alive.
What else would make science fiction, I guess? What's our elements?
Well, science and fiction, Michael.
Oh,
It
well, there is
does-
fiction involved.
There is, but we lack the science part.
We do like the science. He tries to do the scientific approach.
He does.
So science?
No.
Fiction-
No.
It's a
no.
ghost studies.
I tried, ladies. I tried to help you out.
You did.
So 2007 film. Let's get some film stats.
Starring John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
And Mary McCormick.
Mary McCormick.
Was that the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah. I was actually super excited to see. I like it. I like to see Tony and stuff. He's, of course, plays the dad in 13 Ghosts, of which, you know what? This movie kind of reminds me of that same setting.
Yeah, it has that kind of that vibe-ish to it.
If you were to tell me that 1408 was in the same universe as 13 Ghosts, I'd believe you.
And now, since Eric's not here, I get stuck with the names. Directed by Mikkel Hofstorm.
He's Swedish.
Swedish?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know anything else he's been worked on?
No.
Let's see.
But I'll get into that. You keep going.
Well, I got him right here. I already brought him up.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm sorry. I opened tabs already.
Fuck
Anna, your
tabs.
monster is going to pour over everything. Take it.
It is
Yeah.
closed.
No,
will burst.
we're not even going to take the chance.
1408, he did a movie called The Right, R-I-T-E.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sure. The Perfect Patient, Slingshot, Vendetta back in 95. He did a movie Evil in 03. Nothing I'm too... Oh, he did Derailed in
That's not-
05.
That's not V for Vendetta. is it?
No.
Okay.
I know of The Right. I keep wanting to say The Ritual, but I know that they're...
We just watched that not too long
That's
ago.
The Ritual.
No, we watched The Right.
Are you sure?
We watched both not too long ago.
So then
Because The Right has Anthony Hopkins and it has like the priesthood and everything in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. There it is.
Then this at 1408 is based on a story by Stephen King.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I got a little factoid about that in a moment we'll talk about. Screenplay by Matt Greenberg. What has Matt Greenberg done, guys? He did Prophecy 2, Halloween H20, The Crow Salvation, Rain of Fire,
I like Rain of Fire.
Pet Cemetery 2019.
That
Oh,
wasn't terrible.
So
okay.
He's
So
been around.
he's had some pretty harsh misses, though.
He did Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest.
No, that was terrible. The Prophecy 2 was, you know what? It wasn't terrible.
Not
it wasn't,
terrible?
wasn't as good as the first one, but it wasn't terrible.
They didn't ruin anything.
No, they
That's,
didn't.
that's important about sequels. Like, you don't have to be as good, but don't ruin it.
Correct. What was the other ones that he did?
Oh, I left him. Rain of Fire.
So I like Rain of Fire, but it's not exactly what I would call a heavy lifter in the story department.
What was the other one? Halloween 22?
H20.
Oh, H2O. You know what? It wasn't. It was okay.
The other screenplay writer was Scott Alexander Larry. Sure. Just a bunch of...
However, I will say that the 2019 Pet Cemetery was pretty. I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed it.
It was well written. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So
We actually need to watch that again.
Scott Alexander and Larry Karazux. They look like a writing team, essentially.
Oh, okay.
They've worked on Problem Child 1990 and Problem Child 2 of 91.
Whoa, gee whiz.
They did worked on Tim Burton's Ed Wood.
That makes sense.
That Darn Cat.
Okay.
Screwed. Agent Cody Banks.
Oh,
Damn, they did a whole bunch of like kid stuff back in the day.
And then after Agent Cody Banks, they did 1408. Then
wow, big jump.
then they have Big Eyes. I never watched that. It's a Tim Burton flick. They worked on 2015 Ghostbusters.
Oh, Jesus.
And then they did 2019 Dolomite Is My Name.
No.
Sure. Why not?
Boy, that 2015 Ghostbusters, that was a shit show to be a part of.
That was all female cast, wasn't it?
That
No.
was all something.
It was all thing.
It was.
I never watched it.
It was not a good representation.
It's the movie argument for abortion being legal.
I don't know.
It is. Sometimes, man, things need to die before they're born.
I mean, yeah, that one was bad.
That movie was fucking
That
terrible.
was so bad. The originals had to come back and be like, "Oh, fuck you!"
You
Like
know,
they had to come back and be like, "Madam."
I did enjoy Afterlife.
I didn't watch it. Anna, did you watch it?
I watched it, but I know that it wasn't something that like stuck to me.
It was a hell of a lot better than the 2015 one. I'll fucking tell you that.
What, Afterlife or the 2015 one?
2015 one.
Oh, no.
Afterlife, I have no idea.
So then our cinematographer is Benoit Delhomme. Home. I'm sorry, Eric. That you have to. We usually stick you.
Michael finally sees.
We're still going to stick you with him.
Oh, for sure. There's nothing that changes that, but there is some sympathy now.
Looking at the cinematographer's stuff, I don't recognize a damn thing really. Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Oh,
Shanghai.
Jesus.
Just gonna cry.
Lawless. Theory of Everything.
Oh, that's a good one.
I never saw it, but I do know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about what I know of him. Then starring roles: John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, Mary. We went over them. So what's your favorite John Cusack? I'm a pretty big John Cusack fan.
Huh. So that's tough. I actually really like his depiction of Edgar Allan Poe in The Raven.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, Anna.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that
That's
too.
not my favorite. There is a movie that I know him from, and I for the life of me can't think of what it is.
Con
But
Air?
he's younger. No, it's not Con Air. But he is. It has to do with like a boating competition or something, and he's younger. It's like an '80s movie. But it's a summer. He's like on a beach for the summer or something.
Okay.
And I remember just loving that movie, and I've held on to the memory of that movie, if not the title of it, dearly.
All right, you can look that up if you want, but we'll
going
go to
to.
Anna about John Cusack, favorite John Cusack films. She was looking at his filmography right now, where wasn't you?
I was not.
You don't know shit about John Cusack.
I know that he's fucking hot.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Wow, really?
Well, she's trying to
Okay.
figure out what she likes him in. Bailey, do you have a favorite John Cusack?
I actually really did like him in Con Air, and then he was really good also in The Raven. He's probably been in a lot more that I've seen that I'm just not thinking of at the moment. Because for me, he's like, and this is gonna break some hearts. I'm so sorry. He's like, oh, it's that guy, because like I'm not very well versed in all my actors and everything
That's
yet.
fine.
so-
Bruce Campbell's like that for me, and we have a whole podcast about him.
Okay, so
I'm
now
like,
I
oh
don't feel
damn,
so
he
bad.
was in that. Like that
Yeah.
was Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't feel so bad.
Ben, did you find your title?
One Crazy Summer, 1986.
Anastasia.
The animated.
Yeah.
He was the
He was Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Oh, it's got
I didn't realize that was him. That's good.
it's got Demi Moore in it.
Demi. Oh, the what's it again? Summer.
One Crazy Summer.
One Crazy Summer. So I'm torn between some favorite roles of John Cusack. I like him in 1408, of course. It depends what mood I'm in. If I'm in a romantic comedy mood, I'm going to watch America's Sweethearts. It's like him and Catherine Zeta-Jones and
Serendipity.
Oh, Serendipity's good too. Damn, that's a good one.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Man, we're gonna have to watch that.
It's a rom-com, so you have to really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's good with rom-coms, but I guess kind of another romantic comedy is Gross Point Blank, where he's like a not serial killer. He's a contract killer.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that one. That has Dan Aykroyd in it also as a contract killer.
Yep.
That's a good one.
He also had a short but important role in Stand By Me.
Yeah.
He was the
Mhm.
brother.
That is true. So that is the rundown. So, budget, of course. What is our budget, guys? $25 million. How much did
Was
it
it-
make?
25 mil.
It was a 20. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it costed $25 million.
I want to.
I'm going to say 70 mil.
70 mil?
Did they at least break even?
Yeah.
They did?
At
Okay.
least.
I'm going to say
104.
I'm going to say 55 million.
They boxed office $133 million.
Wow, really?
That was the
I lowballed
closest.
them.
Yeah, she won by Price is Right rules.
For
Yeah,
some
I
reason,
did.
I seem to remember this movie being a flop. Like people didn't like it or it didn't do very well.
uh,
I mean, I'm
So, I
perfectly willing to admit that I might be misremembering.
yeah,
it.
but I remember it not being like a huge deal either. And I went and watched it in theaters even with my family. And like, yeah, it really didn't feel like a big deal even when it came out. So I'm
But
kind of
that's
surprised.
Yeah, but that's a hefty. Yeah, good for them.
That is really good.
They
yeah.
did it.
They did. I did it.
So as I'm on all these kind of podcasts, I like lists of facts and things. Y'all know I bring facts to the table.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go through some fun facts about 1408. What do I want to care about? Stephen King's original story began as a sample of how to write a first draft in his nonfiction book on writing. However, he liked the story so much that he completed it.
Nice.
So he basically used this as an example, and it ended up working, I guess.
Nice. Nice.
Second thing, allegedly inspired by a real life haunted Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio, Texas. However, the hotel does not actually have a room 1408, so inspired. Okay, sure. I mean,
Oh,
that sounds weak. Sounds like a weak connection.
what did he bite you?
No, he was biting the cord,
Oh yeah.
and that cannot be allowed. We do have a new Cult Talk Net member. His name is Freaky. He's a guinea pig. His picture will now pop up. Meow. You're welcome, Eric.
Oh God.
I don't know if Eric's going to do that.
Yes, he is.
You all may or may not see a picture of a rat.
He's a guinea pig.
He's a guinea pig.
Eric,
Anyway.
just grab any rat picture; it'll be fine. Third thing, initially, Kate Walsh. Who's Kate Walsh? First of all,
She is. Oh, fuck.
Anna. Who's Kate Walsh? She's
An
in Grey's
actor.
Anatomy.
She was in Grey's
Who
Anatomy.
is she in Grey's Anatomy? Oh
Hang on,
God.
I'm finding it.
So initially, Kate Walsh was cast as Mike's ex-wife, but had to drop due to the scheduling conflicts with Grey's Anatomy. So,
How come you didn't ask me who Kate Walsh was?
do you know Kate Walsh?
No, but I mean, I've watched Grey's Anatomy, motherfucker.
She's Eric's ex-wife. Derek's ex-wife.
Oh, the
Addison.
redhead.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She is the. She is
Show
the.
Ben picture.
Yeah, she is the.
I know who she is.
I
Oh, you know
prefer
who she-
to be
okay.
called all.
That's right.
Madam-
You've watched Grey's Anatomy.
Dude, when I say I've watched Grey's Anatomy, I mean I've seen a fuck. So there are. I have seen a lot of Grey's Anatomy, and I have seen a fucking lot of Gilmore Girls.
I like Gilmore Girls.
Same.
I actually don't. I've gotten to the point now where I don't mind Gilmore Girls. I've been traumatized that much because I know I hated it when I first started watching it.
It wasn't by me.
It was
Mike loves it
I believe that
with a capital L.
probably appeals to the tismy side of him.
He likes the dry humor.
They're not even.
Tisms.
Yeah, they're not even really dry. They're just everyone's clever as fuck in that universe. They're the most clever person you ever met. Every one of them.
They really are though.
It's just they're so snappy and witty.
Especially Emily.
Now imagine how different 1408 could have been with this.
Okay.
Early on in production, Keanu Reeves was attached to the play Mike Henslin
Ooh.
before John Cusack was cast. So it was supposed to be Keanu Reeves.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have minded that. I love Keanu.
I don't think I would have hated it.
Wonder what he was doing in 07, why he wouldn't do this, I guess.
I think he's actually kind of picky.
That's fair.
But you know what? I'm actually kind of glad it was John because he gets less work. So
I
yeah.
mean, he's still got a shit ton of movies, but
I mean, he does, but he's not. I mean, I guess back then Keanu hadn't made his resurgence with like John Wick and everything yet either.
yeah.
It's true.
He was in training for that. Fucking Christ.
This is a fun fact on this list, but I think people would like to notice that 1408 is also on the 13th floor,
Yeah.
but it's technically the 14th floor because the superstition. I feel like that Is that common knowledge, first of all?
What
Yeah.
that most places skip the 13th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure because I feel like it's common knowledge, but I'm always like to check.
Yeah, even though they
13th
don't
floor.
actually skip the 13th fucking floor, it just screws up the numbering on your elevator, nothing more.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13th floor, 13th room.
Yeah, because I learned they do that in hospitals too. They skip the 13th operating room.
Yes, but all it does is make like, okay, you put 14 outside of it, but it's still 13 when you count them.
Right.
Like-
It's like, yeah. that's a
It's
weird
to
one.
make the
It isn't. Nope.
It's
superstition.
supposed to be to make the patient more comfortable and less likely to have bad outcomes.
Why? What if their lucky number is 13?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, for the
It's a prime number, right? Makes it better. Yeah.
majority of people, 13 is, superstitious. So they're like,
Numerology.
if I go into this 13th room, either as a patient or something, even surgeons can be superstitious. So either way, they are automatically going to think it's going to be an outcome that isn't great. And so it's more likely that you're going to screw up or have complications because your thought process can
Yeah. Whatever.
psychologically
yeah, but
dictate what your outcome is.
but the facts aren't behind it though. Like numerology even says that odd numbers are actually the superior numbers to even numbers. It has something to do with the positive around it. I briefly researched it. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I have
1408.
Yes. During production, Mary McCormick was pregnant, and thus most of her shots had to be done from the waist up.
Yep. I did start to kind of notice that.
Yeah, you're like, there's just a lot of her up right here.
Yeah. Even some of the times where I'm like, it would have been easier to get her legs there.
The fictional Dolphin Hotel was comprised of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City for
Nice.
exteriors, and its lobby was the Reform Club in London, England.
Damn.
Yeah,
The
nice.
Reform Club.
Why? That's a lot of traveling for. I mean, I guess.
Hey, man, if it doesn't look right, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, I guess. Room 1408 itself was shot entirely on a soundstage at
yeah.
S Tree Studios in England.
It would have to be with the level of so one thing I'll praise this movie right off the bat was they did a surprising amount of practical stuff with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cracking the wall, making the room move, the window, the radios, all of that. And boy, it makes a difference.
Oh yeah, they totally demolished it at one point, which is very interesting and just also plays to the writing. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but
Allegedly, the axe used by the firefighter to break the door down was the same one used by Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
ooh, nice.
As both films were shot in the same studio space, and the axe was in storage with other props.
Oh, interesting.
Nice. I would have thought Stephen King had it.
Nah, they don't get to keep that kind of shit.
Another Shining reference, one of the earlier victims of 1408 was named Grady. So that's
Oh, cool.
however you feel about that, guys. The original ending, Jesus. Listen, first of all, this film had 3 alternate endings,
Mm-hmm.
4.
if we're
Well,
counting
no.
the original.
Yeah, so there's the one, let's count them off. There's the one where he fades into 1408.
Yes.
There's the Samuel L. Jackson ending.
Yes.
And then there's the 2 different versions of the tape recording. There's the recording where she doesn't hear it and the one where she does.
Yeah.
So it's got 4 endings.
Right.
Fuck.
The original ending was reshot because test audiences found it to be too much of a downer. The new theatrical ending saw Mike survive and escape from 1408, while the original, much darker ending and featured on the director's cut. So if you get the director's cut DVD, I guess you'll see
He
the
must be the one where he fades into the room.
right. Yeah, because I doubt they did. I don't know, because he dies in 2 of the 4 of them.
Oh, well then.
What's
No,
this?
then I bet the Samuel L. Jackson ending is
Yeah,
probably-
what's that one?
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll cover
Tell
it.
me now.
We'll cover it at
he
the
wouldn't
end. Give
even
people.
tell me.
Hey, tune to the end, people, the listeners, if you want to know about the alternate endings. Or go look it up on YouTube. It's easily found. Many fans were also disappointed that Samuel L. Jackson's iconic line, "I warned you about 1408," was present in the trailer, but not in the theatrical film.
Guys, it happens all the time.
All
It really
the time.
does.
All the time.
Uh,
It really is bad practice. There shouldn't be anything in your trailer that is not in the movie because the trailer is supposed to give you an accurate representation of the film. I'm against the bait and switch, but it's here to
Yeah.
stay.
And the last one worth mentioning, John Cusack was nominated for a Saturn Award
Oh wow.
for Best Actor.
Cool.
but lost to Will Smith for I Am Legend.
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
How do you feel about that, Ben?
John. Yeah, you got cheated, pal. Not only was Will's acting in I Am Legend not good, but that movie was not good.
I liked it.
Congratulations. You're in like a handful of people. That movie was terrible.
I liked it too, man.
I will do you know what I Am Legend is about? Do you know what the story of I Am Legend is?
No, it's supposed to be a zombie apocalypse movie.
No,
not
it
really.
isn't. In I Am Legend, the story, the vampire night creature things take over and establish a new society. And he becomes the creature in the dark hunting them. And he becomes the monster. And that's why it's called I Am Legend, because he becomes their boogeyman. He becomes their monster. Humans end up being the monsters of the monsters. Where the hell is any of that in that film?
It's not Ben.
I
Sorry
know.
to break it to you, but it's not.
How cool would it have been from the point of view of like the night creatures?
That's
though?
that's what part of it is supposed to be.
But it's not.
It's not. No.
Well, they missed the mark.
missed the mark. They borrowed part of it and just made up the rest.
I hate to say it, but we're probably gonna have to watch that again just to get it fresh in my mind. But I agree. I think John Cusack's acting in this was definitely superior. Well, not even superior. I just feel like he did like a lot more. Like, I mean, the breakdowns that he had to have and like the emotional cycles that he had to do. It's almost not comparable.
Well, so I'll tell you where it is comparable, I think, is that in both of those movies, you have the main actor doing like the heavy lifting through all of it, right? Because they're pretty much on their own. It's kind of like Castaway that way. The difference is that even with the grand spectacle that was I Am Legend, him driving the Mustang through New York City, chasing the deer in that stupid scene where they looked fake as shit, and all of this grand crap, it still didn't gussy up the fact that Will Smith acting like he's going crazy is nowhere near as convincing as him actually going crazy as we have seen
in recent times. Yes.
So here's the other Best Actor Award nominees in there, because of course Will Smith won for I Am Legend. Gerard Butler in 300 was a nominee.
Oh,
damn.
John Cusack of 1408. Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Johnny Depp and Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
And then Viggo
Mortensen.
Yeah, and Eastern Promises.
Jesus Christ. And I Am Legend won?
Right?
Yes.
Eastern Promises is the only one I haven't seen out of that.
That's pretty rough. He plays a Russian gangster.
Ooh.
And I mean, he's a pretty bad guy, but it's good. But so how does one choose a Saturn Award then?
I don't even know who the Saturn
Money!
who puts on the Saturn Awards, to be real honest.
Because I, for the life of me, I cannot figure out how I Am Legend beats any of those films.
Which one? What would have been your pick?
Probably 300.
That's what I'm leaning toward.
No, Eastern Promises. Viggo Mortensen as that Russian. I can't remember his name, but the Russian gangster.
Of course, There Will Be Blood. Daniel Day-Lewis. That was kind of a big deal at the time too.
Eastern Promises is I've only seen that movie twice. It's not one that's on my repeat because it's one of those ones I forget about. But it was pretty good.
I just love Sweeney Todd, guys.
Sweeney Todd's good, but I can't forgive it for Joanna.
Really?
On that note, Anna, take us to the bumper.
Bumper.
Close, better than last year.
You're getting better.
Evolution.
Good job.
Back. This was the first time I ever watched this thing.
You did.
I did.
Oh,
You
done did it.
It is.
And how old are you now?
I'm this many.
That many.
Yeah.
And this came out in 07. How many years are we after the fact? Then?
So we're quite a bit. This came out the year after I graduated.
High school or?
Yeah.
Okay, just say what are we graduating from?
He did graduate college.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten?
No, most definitely not. Anyway, so
That was me.
So I watched it.
That hurt.
I just watched it like an hour ago. I had always been aware of this movie, and for some reason, I was just never. I'll tell you why I was never interested in it. Is because up until very recently, ghost films have had to work hard to get my attention. They're not a genre that I'm really into.
Yeah.
They are recently, just because there's been a complete drought in other areas, and like The Conjuring and stuff like that has kind of done a resurgence for it, which has brought it into my attention. So that makes sense that then I circle back to 1408.
Yeah.
And I actually loved it.
Loved it.
Nice.
Anna.
So I have watched this movie since it came out. Not so much in recent years, but I have seen it quite a few times. And I rewatched it last night, and I realized that there's some shots in there that I absolutely love. Like where the key goes into the door and it turns, even though it's not necessary.
I did say that. I was like, that's kind of an unnecessary shot.
Oh, it was a beautiful shot.
Well,
loved
actually,
it.
so the purpose of that shot is to build tension, right? To stretch
Yeah.
out the fact that he's entering in this thing.
Right.
I mean, it is unnecessary, but it shows character.
Yeah.
And the fact that in this, in some points, how I am super in love with art. I love the fact that the paintings can come to life and the way they change and make, that much more build up and depth to the story. It's just, I love it.
What do you got, Bailey?
The first time I saw this movie, I was at a friend's house and I thought it was my first. I thought at the time it was my first rated R film, but I found out it's actually rated PG-13. But it was like the first horror movie that I'd ever watched.
I don't know if I'd count it even as like a pushing boundaries 13 either.
Probably not.
Like I don't even know if they even
No.
toyed around with R really.
No, this is a very safely PG-13, but ghost films allow for that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That creature films just don't.
So Frank corrupted you, huh?
Yeah, Frank corrupted me. But yeah, that they never like really. Well, I guess they kind of do. But the guy in the flannel, that guy haunted my nightmares for like ever. Oh my
They
god, he
never
scared the
touched that.
shit.
Did they ever explain what that was?
They saw you could
Just-
see him in the painting, but
Is
that
that
was
what it
about
was?
it.
No,
Okay.
just a being of the room because it only showed up in the painting after the paintings came to life.
Yeah.
On the
Mhm.
ship.
See that?
Yeah.
Okay, that bugged me because there should have been something like, oh, and we had a famous serial killer that came through here once and killed somebody or
Yeah.
something.
It might be in passing and just didn't. I might have missed it, but I don't think they really resolved it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't feel like they did either.
I wonder if it's any of like the cuts that they did.
Maybe I do have like a very sneaky suspicion that there's like a lot of deleted scenes in this.
Oh, I
film.
bet there's a 3-hour cut of this.
Yeah.
I can see that easy.
So maybe there's something in there to be had.
Maybe.
I watched this in theaters with my parents. 2007. I was it came out in May. I seen that, so I was 16 because we had that debate on Scream, like how old I was.
How old was everyone?
I was 16 when this came out. My family, we went there and watched it, and I enjoyed it because Mom's like a big John Cusack fan. Yeah, I guess by proxy that made me one just because I watched everything she watched with him in it. So yeah, I remember liking it. It was one of my, at the time, it was like, to be fair, I didn't go to like theaters a lot. So it was like one of the few films I watched in theaters. So it became my favorite, I think, because of that at the time. So it's that special with me.
Aw, I love that.
And we all know how you are with your mommy.
She's dead. I'm not much with her at all.
You love your mommy.
She don't love me though. She left. She don't return my calls.
1408. 1408.
Sometimes parents are just like that. I feel awkward.
All by myself.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's funny because like, yeah, the dead does come back to life in this room. So to
Do
make
they?
a crude joke cruder.
I'm
Yeah, I mean, he saw his daughter, so fuck.
Well, not even. I mean, not his daughter alone. Like he saw like how
we went to
many other
1408
victims?
somehow, didn't we?
Yes.
Oh, all the spoilers coming your way. Again, with all these reviews, if you haven't watched it, sorry for the spoilers, but like,
We're
review-
random ass people.
listen, came out in 07. If you haven't watched it, I don't
You
know.
do need to go watch it.
Then, like, what is the time frame for spoilers to be allowed? I guess when are spoilers appropriate?
Like after 5 years.
I think sooner than that.
I think it's, maybe a couple of months, but it's been 15 years.
I think by the time it gets done with its theater run, that's fair. Like, okay, all spoilers are allowed then at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
What do you think, Ben?
So spoilers for me are there's no finite time. It depends on the direct impact of the film. So like the bigger the splash, the longer you need to keep that shit silent. Like no way home.
Yeah, the community did a good job for that one.
Yeah, like
Jeez.
that was probably one of the best examples of people being willing to sit on something that I've seen in a long time.
I can't remember another time it was that major of a holdout.
The end of Captain America, people kept pretty quiet when they, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
Right.
That was Iron Man. I
Yeah.
meant Iron Man. Yeah, the ending of Iron Man, they kept pretty quiet.
Everybody's like, ooh.
Yeah, everybody's just like, oh my God, people got to know this for themselves.
So Ben, this is probably more fresh to you right now. If you want to start running us through the plot, we'll talk about 1408.
Okay, so we meet John.
Mike.
I'm going to get all their names because I'm not doing that.
What was his last name? Epison?
Insulin.
Insulin.
It wasn't, was it? I think it was, was it Ensign?
I think insulin.
Boom. Insulin. Yep, it was.
Spell that for the audience.
Enslin.
Insulin.
Insulin. So we meet Mike Insulin. He is a writer and he specializes in haunted tales. Mostly lists like top 10 haunted hotels, top 10 haunted bridges, top 10 haunted towns, top 10 haunted tampons.
Just all the haunted.
All the haunted things.
Yes.
And he's kind of a dick. He stays at this hotel room and he's kind of snarky with the woman. Although, boy, howdy. The way the first people that we meet in this movie, like when he's at the desk, I'm like,
they're pretty aggressive.
They're functionally retarded. Like who the hell mans a desk like that?
Well, I think they're just so, I think they invited him and they're just so excited for him to be there. Cause he alludes to it later. Like, this is going to boost their business. Him writing about these people are just going to boost
Yeah,
business.
I know, but they don't even structure sentences. They're like robots.
So the people at the desk are very aggressive.
They're like talking up this ghost story and all this crap. And then he goes up and stays there and nothing happens. And he reports on it. And he's bored and he's sour and he's pissy. And so he goes to this book signing and nobody shows up because nobody gives a shit about his stuff. Except for this one really nice lady who finds an old book of his on eBay that she really enjoys. And it's called The Long Path Home.
The Long Road Home.
Long Road Home. There it is.
Wow, we just had our Samuel Jackson John Cusack moment right there. They did that too.
They did.
They did.
The long road, the long path, whatever he said. Go on.
But anyway, she's very complimentary of this book, and he really couldn't give a shit. Okay, so that might be unfair. He doesn't want to talk about it. I think is the better interpretation.
I think it's just too painful.
Well, yeah, because we find out, because he tells her, it's like, she asks, like, is it any truth in it, anything real? He just tells her no. But
which is clearly a lie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even then, we're like, okay, bud.
Yeah. And so I guess I get why he doesn't want to talk about it. At the same time, like, if you're doing a book signing and 4 people show up, and one of those happens to be a person that is, like, really into your not schlocky work,
right?
Humor the motherfucker for
was
5 minutes, would you?
And that was the first scene, like that whole, like where they're asking questions and stuff. That was the first scene I started feeling after rewatching it a bunch of times. I'm like, they cut a lot of stuff out. They had to.
Yeah, because they never really kind of touch that again, do they?
No.
I mean, they do a little bit with who was it that's like, Dad was a right bastard?
Samuel?
Was it Samuel?
Yeah,
That was Samuel
yeah. He's talking
Jackson.
about the book.
Yeah,
later.
yeah. So they do touch on it, but once things kick off, like for lack of a better term, the room seems to forget that this is an avenue of attack, right?
Right.
So I do agree. I bet I probably.
Yeah, it just
But-
feels like there's a lot of deleted scenes going on. I haven't got a chance to look up.
But going back to that book, that was actually his debut book.
Right.
Yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
on the back of it, it says his debut book.
Right.
So like, I don't know. I would have told her to pull up a fucking chair.
Which is weird because, like, he wrote that and then presumably about him and his father's relationship. And then he just doesn't write a book like that again because his daughter died or because his dad died, I guess.
Well, no, I think it's because once his daughter passed, spoiler, once his daughter passed, he became obsessed with the idea of disproving the paranormal.
Right. And I thought about that too. Upon rewatching this, and I seen, the opening scene where he goes into the hotel, I'm like, would this have been like Casper, that dad?
No, the dad in Casper, which, by the way, how has that escaped 2 Cultobers?
Wow, it has.
It has. That's
Wow, we suck.
that's rough because Casper's amazing.
Yeah, we really suck.
That movie's great. But the dad in Casper, he not only accepts that there is an afterlife, he's like a therapist for the paranormal. He wants to
That's
help
true.
them. Whereas
trying
this
to find
guy,
his wife,
this
yeah.
guy's like, fuck it and fuck everything that religion stands for and all this terrible.
There is no God.
Yeah. He even says that at one point. He says, if they're, which I found interesting. The comment that he made, he said there are no monsters and like long-legged beasts, ghouls, and goblins, and if there was, there's no God to protect us. I'm like, well, surely if you go down the road to where ghosts are now real, that your possibilities of accepting God have expanded, right?
Right. It's like if they are there, you have to accept that. Just about.
I mean, I don't think you have to accept it, but I mean,
something in that regard.
you better loosen up your stance, I would think.
Well,
Right?
I mean, it's the old stance. It's if you believe in the devil, there has to be a God, and you can interpret that into whatever entities you worship and believe in.
Yeah, but you know how fascinating is how many people are like, oh yeah, I believe in God and heaven. What about the devil and hell? No. I'm like,
I
well,
don't
that's
under-
convenient.
I don't understand how you can.
I can't do that either.
Well, I mean, there was the scene with his daughter sick, and she asked him if he believes in, God or anything.
Yeah.
And he says yes. And she do you really?
Yeah, so he does kind of hold some kind of resentment toward that too against his wife and filling her head with all those stories and everything.
Well, a lot of people go from believing in God and stuff, and then something bad happens, like their child dies, and then they're,
Well, sure.
if there was a God, then he wouldn't allow this to happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's out of place. It's
So,
just
I think that's kind of what happened here. Was he
that
went
is most
through
definitely what
and
happened.
just lost his faith, because if there was a God, why would he let
I
a
would
poor child die
I wouldn't
like
be
that?
surprised if there's more here explaining that like he was never religious and that the religious
Yeah.
stuff came from the mom.
That's what
I always
feel.
thought he was lying to the daughter when she asked if there was a God.
Oh, he was for her convenience because
Yeah,
the mom wanted
I
it that
always
way, I
thought
think.
he was lying, but I kind of felt like there was a little bit of like skepticism, there.
Like he wasn't
maybe,
sure, maybe,
Yeah,
but
kinda, yeah,
now
like
it just
maybe, but he even says it himself. What kind of God would do this to a little girl? And like, I think at that point it was his tipping point. Like, yep, nope, not real.
Yeah, makes a good reason to move to California where we learn where he is now after the book signing. Ben, keep us going.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait, God's in California?
yes.
No, God's in New York, so he went to California.
Devil's
I don't think
Advocate
either
takes
of these
place
places know he exists.
Oh,
But so he's at the book signing and he dismisses this woman after they talk about his dad or don't talk about his dad, and he gets a postcard from the Dolphin Hotel.
yeah, he goes surfing and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, was the surfing before or after the mailroom, I guess?
That was before. The surfing
before,
was
right?
before.
He surfs. He hits his head. He
Yeah,
winds up on the beach.
which is
he's-
important.
Sort of.
For later.
It is sort of. And he gets a postcard in the mailroom that talks about this room 1408 at this Dolphin Hotel. He calls there to try to book a room just for skepticism's sake, and they're just
Yeah.
like, nope, not available.
Which
And
is kind of weird, like how he decides to choose places.
I'm
just
not
some-
sure. I'm not sure I could tell
He
you.
just
Yeah.
liked the fact that they were clever about it. Don't go into 1408, and then the numbers 1408 add up
13.
13.
Right.
And
But
so
do they
he's
ever-
like, oh, okay.
I don't think they ever. Where did the postcard come from?
Never said.
Did
That's
it come
that's
from
another appeal, I guess, because it didn't really have where it came from.
Right. And he got pamphlets from all of these other places that are sending him stuff saying, hey, come check out our place. It's haunted.
Right.
But then this postcard just magically
Right.
shows
The,
up.
the room sent it to him.
And then I
Right.
think he got peed because then he went and started doing research on it.
Well, he got pissed off that they told him no, and so he gets his lawyers involved.
Hell
is-
yeah!
Which is, I mean, that's some dedication for a top 10 hotel writer. Like, instead of like answering any of the other pamphlets, he's like, no, fuck you. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean Samuel Jackson alludes to that too. He's like, you run the hack and slash type I was expecting, which yeah,
Yeah, clearly.
And even when he's like, your bookings go up 50%, Samuel looks right back at him like, we operate at 90% capacity. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, he don't need your 50%. Like, yes.
Anyway, so he gets the lawyer involved, and yeah, the lawyer's basically like, yeah,
They
civil
can't,
rights.
as long as there's nobody occupying that room, they can't deny you for any reason.
And then we get like a glimpse of because it's in New York, and Tony Shalhoub's character, who is his publisher, yeah, Words is who he is for John Cusack character.
It's always cool.
And he's like, and he gets off the phone, makes the lawyer leave. He gets on the phone. He's like, now, are you sure you're good to go back to New York, my guy? And he's like, yeah, I'll be fine. Job in and out. Be quick.
Yeah, not so much.
No.
But he goes and he checks in at the Dolphin Hotel, which is a pretty cool looking hotel.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
It's no world-renowned Plaza Hotel, but it'll do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
he has Samuel L. Jackson's very resistant to him staying.
So
Well-
this was actually my favorite scene in the entire film, was them in Samuel Jackson's office.
It was a really good dialogue between the two. It was very well written.
Is that what made you like it? Just the back and forth they had? Or
It was the fact that they were allowing these two actors to go through the history of the hotel together when the natural inclination probably might have been to have John get a hold of the file or whatever, or have him sit in front of a computer screen or a microphage film or whatever, and he discovers all this shit by himself, right? Instead, you have two really good actors doing it by dialogue, and it's good. I love it. And I was actually, you can ask Bailey so he goes through his whole thing where he explains about all the different deaths, right?
Yeah.
There have been people that have committed suicide. There have been people that have been murdered. And then he goes, oh, and by the way, we're not even counting all the people that's died of quote unquote natural causes.
Yeah.
We've had maids that have gone nuts and clawed their eyes out. And they did all that. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. And the whole time he's like, I have a file of everything. And John's like, okay, but I'm still going to go to the room. And he's like, okay, fine, read it. And when he slides in the file, I was like, oh, okay, here we go into the self-discovery. But then they double back and they have Samuel L. Jackson narrate all the stuff that's in the file. And that was awesome because I wanted more of that. I didn't want that scene to end until the explanation had been concluded, and they were smart enough to take their time on that and not rush it. It was nice.
It's a good way to do an exposition dump, really.
It was such a nice exposition dump because sometimes you got to have them. You can't be clever all the time. It's just nice. It was
nice.
just nice.
Good back and forth.
It was simple,
So-
tasty.
They start going up to 1408.
Oh yeah.
They have a skeleton key.
Yep, it's not electronic. It's a skeleton key.
What I thought was interesting was they do make the comment, you haven't switched over to magnetics, and they're like, yeah, it actually the magnetics will not work on room
Just
1408.
won't work. But they also talk about how they do turn down service once a month. Two maids working side by side. The door stays open, and Samuel Jackson has to supervise the entire time.
Yeah.
They're in and out 10 minutes.
10-minute increments.
Yeah. And though sometimes.
Yeah, and he even just he's like, sometimes shit happens.
Yeah. That was where the maid got locked in the bathroom for just 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and she ended up taking scissors to her eyes.
And laughing hysterically.
Yeah. So he goes in, and he's actually pretty shitty about this surprisingly nice room.
It's a really nice room.
It is a nice room, and he's just like, oh, how ordinary. I'm like, fuck you, man. It's a nice room.
I like everything about how Samuel L. Jackson didn't sell the room at all. He's just like, just don't.
Oh, yeah, no. He does absolutely nothing to try to placate this guy. He's just like, please, man, just don't do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll give you Knicks tickets.
He's like, Knicks tickets, I'll give you this really expensive bottle of whiskey, which, by the way, the label on the whiskey says the 37 deaths.
57,
which we find out in the story there are 56 deaths in 1408, implying that John Cusack is 57.
Nice little Easter egg.
Yeah.
I do like because John, Mike Insland, he was talking about how the manager, because he keeps talking to recorder the whole time, right?
Yep.
Every time he has a thought, he's into this recorder. He was like, the manager's going on about the phantom of the room, blah, blah. He's like,
Manager's like, I never said the word phantom.
oh, ghosts, poltergeist.
Nope.
He's like, no, it's just an evil fucking room.
Yep.
Which we get our one F word for our PG-13.
For our PG-13, and you got to give it to Sammy.
Of course. How you going?
Who else would it go to?
Oh, my God.
Talk again, Anna.
Well,
Jesus.
I can't help it.
Well, yours is the one that got turned up, and we're
Oh,
Yeah.
go on. Yeah, who else would do it?
Yeah, I wasn't, oh, my God, that you were talking. It was just like, boom.
Like, wow, Anna's alive.
oops.
But yeah, so he's just not selling it. Every step he goes, he's just like, please don't, man.
Yeah, he won't even get off the hotel. He won't even get out of the elevator on the
Yeah.
floor.
Which,
On the 14th floor.
yeah,
which
where he gives his last plea, really. He's
yeah. Which it looks like you have to go down a couple hallways to get to this room. So he's like, I ain't going anywhere near that motherfucker.
No, they
Like-
even take the furthest elevator from it.
Yes, because they pass another one going to
Well,
it.
that's what I was wondering about that scene, because he's looking through the file that Olin gave him, and he's just going through. He gets engrossed into it, gets us engrossed.
By the way, Olin is the name of Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. So I don't know if he just walked around to another elevator, or if that's just a circle hallway for some reason.
Why would
No.
he have passed the room?
No, he it's another set of elevators.
Okay. So I was always unclear on that. I was like, maybe it's just one, and he ended up somewhere else.
You know what I like about that scene is when he like bumps into the thing and it like stops him. It's like the hotel itself is like, hold up, are you sure you want to do this? Because as soon as it stops him, the door's open,
Yeah.
and it's like the hotel itself is like, oh, that way.
One more time.
Yeah, it's like just asking you if you're sure you want to do this, pal.
Yeah.
And he sure as fuck does.
And he looks up ahead, get into his room. He sees the lady and the baby, which we didn't mention, which they do like throughout the whole hotel. They're really putting faces in front of you because they want you to remember all these faces of people, which bothers me because I feel insulted later in the movie because of how they flash back to him. It's like, you didn't expect me to remember.
I
know why they did it.
They threw a lot of stuff at you in between then and now.
That's true. Yeah, remember this guy kind of thing. I
feel like they lingered on the lady and the baby a lot for not a lot of. I feel like there was probably more there.
Yeah. Again,
like they
deleted
cut
scenes.
something.
It still feels like
important
deleted
out.
scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll tell you what I was expecting. I was expecting him to like hear her on the other side of the wall killing the baby, right? Like,
Yeah, something.
Like it was fucking with him, like hearing all this horrible shit. But also, it is PG-13, so.
Yeah,
Oh man, wouldn't that be a bitch if you find out the 3-hour version's rated R?
Hate to see it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so he gets in the room. He's just like the big tension music building, waiting for something to happen. He's just like, is this it? Like, just a room.
I mean, nice room, but it's just yeah.
I don't know. He goes around, starts tearing the room
He
apart.
does,
Really.
and I was like,
Well,
I've stayed in a lot worse rooms
my
than that.
opinion, it was a nice room. But yeah, to him, it's just this. The way that everybody was describing this room, that it was evil and stuff. I guess he just expected more for it not to look so ordinary.
Well, I mean, it's not going to look like Dr. Frankenstein's fucking lab.
That's what I said. Like, what's a haunted room supposed to look like?
Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre Butcher Shop.
He's just insulting the paintings, the wallpaper.
I thought the wallpaper was
the
nice.
stain on the floor.
Bailey was like, oh, what'd you say?
I was like, it's hydrangea wallpaper, which it actually looks like water lilies up close. I wasn't sure. But either way, it was nice bedroom wallpaper. I would put that wallpaper up. What the fuck are you trying to say, John? Mike?
John Mike?
John Mike?
But let's talk about how this room fucking cheats.
Did it cheat here?
It did
It
cheat.
does cheat.
It cheats a couple of times.
It does cheat because in the office where Olin, Samuel L. Jackson's character, was trying to say, don't go in this room, he says, no one has lasted more than an hour.
Yeah. And that's kind of a big theme.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But we'll get in. But so, yeah, no one's lasted more than an hour in this. So you can kind of keep track of time.
Right.
How long he's been in this
But when
room.
he enters the room, it's like 7:02. We see that on the clock. And he's going around the room. Nothing's happening. And it's hot as hell in there. The
AC's not working.
AC's broke.
He's monologuing into his tape recorder.
Bitching about the room. And he calls them down and gets a maintenance guy to come fix the thing. And meanwhile, the radio goes nuts.
Well, before that, he has some weird stuff happen anyway. Because that's where he is talking about the room, and then the radio kicks on.
That's
yeah.
right.
And then he turns around, he sees there's chocolates on the pillow.
Right.
And the toilet paper that he had ripped off
Is now folded
is
back.
now folded.
Yeah.
So
I don't get the reference because I don't read probably. Encyclopedia Brown.
That one missed me too.
Yeah, he's like, let's Encyclopedia Brown this bullshit or
He
whatever.
should have said Sherlock Holmes.
Someone look up Encyclopedia Brown while we're on this.
But anyway, the point is, the guy teaches him how to fix the thing because he won't come into the thermostat because he won't come into the room. And then weird shit starts happening.
Well, the room didn't almost let him open the door for the maintenance guy.
Almost.
Yeah,
but
because
then
he was like pulling and just
A
wouldn't go.
bunch of weird shit starts happening. I'm not going to describe it all because it's just like a lot.
Who's Encyclopedia Brown?
It is a book series of the boy detective Encyclopedia Brown.
Should have just said Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
But this is cute. For his intelligence and range of knowledge, a series of 29 children's novels was written.
Jesus.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, as soon as that guy leaves, it's just a no holds bar.
Right. But the part that Bailey was talking about the room cheating is it then sets a timer, right, for 1 hour.
Right.
And it's like you have an hour. When we see that clock and it switches to an hour, it was 8:04. He had already been in there for an hour already.
So yeah, it cheated.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now you have to be in here an hour. It's like, bitch, I've already been here for an hour. Cheating motherfucker.
It was the warm-up hour. They just
Yeah,
didn't let
it
you
was
know.
like, now this is a 2-hour challenge, you cheating bitch.
I was not okay with that. I was like, excuse you.
Bailey was kind of insulted. She's like, now, wait a minute. He's been in here for a while.
Like, hang on.
He should at least get 15 minutes off that clock.
I do not like it when things don't play fair because I always play fair, so I expect the other person to play fair. And then I started playing board games with Michael.
Munchkin. Munchkin is amazing.
Well, your problem with this room playing fair. It's an evil fucking room.
It's an evil fucking
So it don't need to play by your
I know.
rules.
Bailey kept saying this. She's like, that is mean when it would do something. I'm like, he said it's an evil fucking room. But she'd be like, oh, that's below the belt. That's too mean. I'm like, that's
Evil fucking room. What do you want?
Yeah, every time the daughter came up, I'm like, you stop that. You leave him alone.
So this room just goes like crazy. It crushes his hand with a window. It has the sink goes crazy and starts shooting out hot water and then later blood. Like the radio's going nuts. He hears a baby crying through the wall to the point where it like almost makes his ears bleed, which does happen at one point.
The first time he goes deaf. That was the first big one. He was deaf.
He goes deaf. The room is covered in snow. The room gets like a giant crack in it and starts
sees a mirroring of himself across the street.
like just all.
He tries to get out, and then there's no window.
And then he crawls, and then finally when
Comes
the window
back in, and then the bedroom window's gone. So he listens to his recording, and somehow it completely changed.
yeah.
So there's
That's fair. Let's go be the easier way to do this moment because 100% we can't go through everything.
No, this
So-
room just throws all kinds of.
What was your favorite thing, Ben? Let's do that
Well, that's fair.
because it's too much to track. Asking the hard questions, Michael Henty is.
Well, I mean, it is because that's kind of the crux of the story, right?
Right.
I'm gonna have to say the long fake out. I mean, I was never fooled.
Right. Oh yeah, where he gets
Yeah,
washed
it gives him this extended fake out where it's like, oh, you've escaped, you've met up with your ex-wife, you're even writing a book about this, you've published it, and now you're back here again. Good luck.
and he was pissed.
I know, but the cool thing about that is that was the one that pushed him too far.
Yeah.
The room actually overdid it.
Like,
Yeah.
nope, that's it.
Yep.
Because he was
literally
really just
screams, "I was out."
Yes.
right, because then it comes back and it just pops the door in front of him. He just like knocks on. He's like, open it. Like he's just, what the fuck are you doing now? Like he
Yeah.
was over it.
But I'm gonna have to say my favorite thing it did to him was the fake out.
What about you, Anna? What was your favorite?
When it took over his computer and was talking to his ex-wife for him.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was
And then after she hangs up, it just looks at him and smiles in his face. And he's like, I can't stop this.
Nope.
starts punching it and shit.
What about you, babe?
Oh, when the daughter dies again.
Oh yeah.
I
Ugh.
remembered that from the very first time I'd watched it, and every time I always forget about this scene, but I know when it's fucking
she remembers
coming.
it like a split second before it happens. She goes, "Oh my god, I remember this!" Boom, she drops dead.
And Ben was like, "Oh, he's gonna take all three," and I'm like, "It's worse. It's worse."
Actually, I don't. Although I don't think it is worse. I thought like the ending was gonna be like the room kills. Like it's like I've got her, now I've got you. Now we're gonna sit here and wait for your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
for the people who don't know about paranormal things, don't ever interact. Don't say your loved ones' names. Don't say your name. Don't look it in the eye.
Yeah,
if it has eyes.
There was a moment where he like says his daughter's name where we were both just like, "Oh fuck, why did you say her
moron.
name?"
Because now it knows.
It
Yeah.
fucking knows.
You could just tell there was. I don't know if it was intentional or if it was just, but there was just something about when he said that name. It's just like, oh god, now it knows that that's your crack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But here's what I love about how they did the daughter dying again. First of all, he knows she's not real from the very get-go. He looks over at her and is like, "You're not real. Don't do this. You're not real." And then she keeps coming towards
Yeah,
him.
but he lost hold of it.
And he lost a hold
Bloody
of it.
feet.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The bloody feet.
And I think because it was, he accepts like, whatever before he hugs her or whatever. She gives like a little smirk. I'm just like, that's the fucking room smiling.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
you're buying this whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then like she's very clearly, gonna die again in his arms. And then the way she just like totally just falls out, I'm like, oh no, and then turns into ash.
Bursts
and
into
combusts.
Like
ashes.
instantly, though.
I laughed at that part. out
No.
loud. I was like, oh shit. It's just
I cried.
not only did she die, you crumbled her. Just-
Yeah.
I fucking cried. I ugly cried, man. And then when he was like, "I'm taking you with me," I was like, "Burn, bitch, burn!"
What about you, Michael?
I think I like just the aspect of like the other people that killed themselves, like they're jumping out the window and stuff, and they're making eye contact with
Yep,
them.
they're like, "This is you, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's like showing like they're stuck in this loop. Like, yeah, we're going to just continue to keep dying. So
I'll tell you another good. Okay, I have a tie for my two favorite moments. One is him and Samuel Jackson in the office, but the other one, man, the scene where he's talking to the room on the phone. That is so satisfying because it's like this opera. It's like the room is pretending to be the front lobby, and it's like, sir, if you can't leave, but if you'd like to take our express checkout, you're more than welcome to. And he does everything short of just being like, "Look, bitch, I'm not." Like he looks at. It offers a fucking noose for him in every room that he goes to. It's like, here. And finally he goes back to the phone. And he's like, I'm not doing this. Fire away. And it's like, as you wish. And then he picks it back up and he's like, well, I'm not. Fuck you. I'm not like.
yeah, because it restarted a whole other hour on
Yeah.
him.
And it's
For
like.
his third hour, right?
Yeah, we're on his third hour.
Yeah, and
now.
it's
So
like, you
there
can
it cheated again.
Yep. And it's like, you can keep reliving this hour or you can take the way out. And he's like, yeah, no. He just and when it like lets out this scream and starts melting the phone, for me, I would have taken that as a win. I was like, ooh, I'm actually pissing this thing off.
So how does he beat the room?
He lights that motherfucker on fire.
Using the alcohol that the dude gave him.
Yep, that's Sammy gave him.
Making the room the 57th death.
Correct.
And so then the fire department come and save him.
Along with his ex-wife.
Yeah,
And
because she's
Sammy's
down the
just like,
street.
good job.
He gives the Dolphin Hotel 10 skulls, throws that shit out the window, and as we know, more oxygen causes more fire.
Yep.
So I like that they kind of did that.
Yeah, it was a neat way of adding a little science in there.
It's like he knew also science fiction. Perhaps.
It is not science fiction, Michael. No more so than it is a goddamn Christmas movie. I don't care
I can't believe YouTube hasn't listed as science fiction.
What? YouTube doesn't get the qualification of something right, you say?
No.
Surely not.
They got PG-13 right.
They did.
And the year. They got the title right.
Look at them go. So he sets the room on fire. He gets rescued by the firemen.
He tells him to let the room burn or
Yeah,
don't.
he
touch
says
Which
the
I'm
room.
surprised
He says
that
it's
the
evil.
room even let them break in the door.
Because the room was hoping the firefighters would put it out.
Yeah, let him in.
I mean, it's on fire. It's dying, essentially.
Yeah, think of it like the thing from the movie.
Yeah, but I would figure it'd be like, okay, I'm taking you with me, bitch.
No, it doesn't want to die.
It can't die.
Evil is always self-serving.
I
So
guess.
survival.
And of course, I think it might have more control over what gets out versus what gets in anyway, because it don't stop anyone
Yeah,
from coming in.
It doesn't seem to, or at least we don't see any instances of somebody trying to get in from the outside and being unable to.
Right. It never sticks when you're trying to open the door.
Well, from the outside.
Correct.
Then he wakes up in the hospital, burnt to shit.
And he's
And-
like, "Are you real? Are you really here?"
Am I in New York? Like, yes, this is real. Perhaps, maybe it might be real. We don't really know.
I'm still not 100% sure.
We got inceptioned at this point.
No, I think he got out because of the end. So here's the ending of the one that's on YouTube. If you watch,
Yes.
he's sitting down, finishing the novel that he already wrote in the fake out, and he brings out his melted tape recorder that he recorded everything on, and he's listening to it. And his wife is doing laundry in the background or unpacking.
I think they're
Unpacking.
unpacking.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's moving back to New York is
Right.
the idea.
And the conversation between him and his daughter was recorded, and he can hear it and she can hear it, which seals the deal on it being not real. Now, that is one of 4 endings.
Yes.
Michael, would you like to take it from here?
The other ending's very easy. Imagine that same thing, but she doesn't hear the tape recorder.
Right.
She's just farther off, packing, never comes back. He has a little smirk and he just kind of holds onto the tape recorder, movie ends. So exact same scenario, but that. Other one, he dies in the fire,
Oh.
and then still in his place in LA, his publisher, Tony Shalhoub, is there with the wife helping pack up. Wishing he could have had another story from him or something, whatever. But he ends up, Tony Shalhoub goes back to New York. He has to leave her there. They have a big back and forth. Like, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and leave. He goes back to New York, goes to his office, and he receives the book that he wrote when he did get out.
Oh,
Yeah, when he did get actually out. And then you start hearing like voiceovers going on where like basically recapping everything we just seen.
right.
And then we go see Mike Enslin We go back to the dolphin while the reading's still going on. He see him there smoking a cigarette, and he fades into the burnt hotel room.
Oh shit.
So that the story is still told. Somehow the room let that book actually get out somehow.
I had even said at one point, I wonder if this room is like a gateway to another dimension at one point. Like, because it kind of gives off those vibes at certain times, especially during the fake out.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it might be an aspect of the room.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It seems to have too much of an intelligence to simply be a portal.
There is videos you can find of like 30-minute videos just discussing the ending of 14
I'm sure. So what's the other endings?
The last one is more extravagant because those are the 3, which I don't like that one with Tony Shalhoub just because like that book never would have got to him. I mean, it's weird. Unless there's alternate universes going on. I don't know. But the 4th one's the most extravagant. We are at Mike Enslin's funeral, and the book publisher's there, and the wife is there, and then Olin shows up to let the wife know, like, he did not die in vain. You know, he saved a lot of lives. People's going to be whatever, blah blah. And they're like, first of all, you're crazy. Go back. You know, I think you need to leave now. That kind of thing.
Wow.
And so then he goes, sits back in his car, and then he has like his belongings. He has the tape recorder that he was going to give to the wife, but they didn't want it. Just told him to go. He gets it out and starts playing it. He starts hearing Mike talk about him, like what he thought of him and everything, starts laughing. And then he looks up in his rearview mirror, and the axe-wielding person he sees in his back seat scares the shit out of him. Turns around, no one's there. So then you have this whole essence that the room's following Olin now.
Huh.
And then the movie ends.
Interesting.
That one's the most extravagant, way different.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Completely different. Yeah.
That must be the original ending.
Probably. That'd be a weird one. Like, that wouldn't feel right in any way. The other 3 feel at least okay. I could have been fine with any of those.
It would have made more sense to have Mike in the back seat if you were going to do anything.
Yeah, just to scare him. But no, it's just the axe-wielding person.
That leads further credence to the idea that there's a lot deleted from or removed from this story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's get into the next part where we have more general takeaways.
Let's get into it.
It's an evil fucking room.
Anna, we're back.
We're back.
So, Anna, do you know how she doesn't know how this works, actually?
You don't know how this works?
She might not know how this works. Ben, we better start with you, actually, for the rating.
Okay. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 foreshadowing bottles of whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah.
4 for foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, guess what? Give big overarching takes.
I mean, I like it all. It's a paranormal film, so it'll never rank into my like top 5. Like I can put it on it. So 5 for me is I can put it on at any time, regardless of what I feel like. Watch it and be thoroughly satisfied with my experience. Ghost movies, paranormal movies, largely just don't scratch that itch.
Just don't do it for you.
Not quite on that level, but I would easily put this. I was kind of talking to Michael. I would put this at like a Pumpkinhead level. I would put this at maybe a Sleepy Hollow level, where it's like, man, if it's Halloweeny time like it is right now, this is definitely one that I would put on in the rotation for sure, and it will be put on in the rotation. Most definitely.
I'll give it, just to steal it from Anna, so she has to think longer, 4 out of 5 skeleton keys, because I know that's what she would use. So I'm just.
Oh, she told you to eat a dick. Do you see that? That's her eat a dick face.
Yeah, because she's upset about it. She's like, no, that's not what I was going to use.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, well, fine.
Boy.
Well, I don't like the skeleton key then. I need something better.
No, you already picked it. You can't.
God damn it.
It's not your fault that you
4 out of 5 skeleton keys.
You swung and missed, motherfucker.
But this movie has nostalgia value for me because I did watch it in theaters as one of the earlier, because growing up how I didn't get to go to theater a lot. So this is one of the few times my parents did take me. And I like John Cusack. I like him in a lot of things. And
Samuel Jackson.
Which feels like a small character, but he built a lot into it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because they were smart enough for that one scene that he's basically in, right? The office scene. And then he's like in kind of scenes ancillary on either side of that, but the office scene's the big one. They were smart enough to give him all the screen presence and allow him to he got to narrate all the horrific shit that happened.
Right.
And so they definitely went for quality over quantity.
Yeah, he's not forgettable.
No. Usually when you get a big name actor like, and I'm not going to say that John Cusack's not a big name actor, he's just not Samuel Jackson.
No.
When you get a big actor like that that's in like the sub range, sometimes they're underused and they're just in there to kind of get people in their butts into seats, right? I actually feel like this is a case of somebody being used a little but done a lot with.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, it was good.
But yeah, like you said, definitely not one I'd put on all the time. I kind of have to be in the mood for it.
Yeah,
So it would come just whenever I think about it. I was like, yeah, I'd like to watch that right now.
absolutely.
So that's where 4 out of 5 skeleton keys. Bailey, on to you.
I'm going to do 4 out of 5 ghosts that provide turn down service.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good
That was
one.
a good one.
That is a good one.
It's a quote from the movie. Because he says that after he finds the toilet paper.
Yep, he's like, they're very quiet and polite. Turn down service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it. There is definitely some story missing there. Like I always wonder, why is the axe person in there? Because I need to know why. I would have actually really liked it if they had gone kind of more into the stories of like how people were kind of, because it seems like this room. Oh well, I mean, it doesn't seem like this room does drive people mad, but kind of like how it's done it in different ways. Because like he kind of gets put through the 9 circles of hell. Is that what we were kind of going through?
They do some. There's some stuff in there that could kind of, and he does kind of expound on that.
Yeah, he talks about it when he's laying there freezing in the floor.
Yeah, and there is some idea to that, like the wet carpet. Like there's, I can't remember what circle it is, but it's like a marshlands, and so I bet there's a YouTube video on it.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of stuff dissecting this film.
I could see some connection. I definitely saw where they were getting at, if it is indeed kind of the point.
But yeah, 4 out of 5 because I feel like there's some story missing that I do want to see. Otherwise, it was great. It freaked me out then. Freaks me out still. Yeah.
All right, Anna, what is your shit? Since not the scale, you made me waste mine. I know you didn't make me do it, but it's fine.
Yeah, you think you know me. No, I will go with I want to say about 3.5. 3.5 dead daughters. Oh!
That poor girl. That was hilarious, though.
So 3.5. Do we only have half the ashes, or
No, that's
no, she's like half alive because she's not really dead at one point.
oh, she's dead.
I mean, she's dead, but she's not really alive. Well, anyway, it's 3.5 dead daughters. There's a lot of plot missing that they've had to cut away just to make it shorter, I'm sure. And then there's other inconsistencies that I didn't really like how there's still blood everywhere when he uses the black light. Like, if they do turn down service once a month, they should have changed those bed sheets by now. There wouldn't be those people's blood just laying there on the bed sheets.
Yeah. See, almost any other time, like literally any other time, I would agree with you, except for the fact that there is nothing about this room that you can accept at face value.
That's true.
Nothing.
But I also see your point.
How many other people are going to go in there with a black light?
Yeah, but with that room, it can literally do that on a whim just because it's like, oh, he is using a black light. Well, let's fuck with him a little. Boom.
Well, I wonder if it was even him just like, because I thought the same thing. I was like, man, like you
like the walls and stuff make sense, but the bed is where it hurts.
Yeah. So I was wondering, like, maybe he's just recalling from all the pictures he's looked at. He's flashing it there.
I thought so, but no. I think he's actually seeing it because you never see him actually lay in the bed.
Yeah, he doesn't get in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I think he sits in it once he first gets in the room, but after he finds the pillow or the chocolates on the pillows, he does not get back in the bed.
No, there's just little inconsistencies that, get me a little bit in the plot, obviously, just because I haven't seen any of the deleted scenes to know if there's something.
Well, you should never judge the quality of a movie by the deleted scenes because for better or for worse, the finished product is supposed to tell a cohesive story.
Right. And there's just something missing there. Like, where did that axe guy come from? And why an axe guy? Like, just why?
Can we talk about the hairline on the axe guy?
Right. And
look like a burn victim, right? Kind of.
Wow.
I don't know. I never got a good enough look at him.
Do we want to look this up live on the air?
No.
All right.
But just, just little things.
Sure. Yeah. I get that. Totally get that.
So just
3.5 dead daughters.
3.5 dead daughters.
You had to kill her 3.5 times.
It's like 3.5 and 4 is all around.
Yeah. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Again, just something not to watch all the time.
I mean, it's not horrible. It's not. It's actually a good movie.
There are worse ways to spend an hour and 40 minutes.
It's worth adding to your Cultober collection for the month of October.
I think so.
If anything, Like, watch it for John Cusack's actual, like, mental breakdown in this room because, like, the shot is amazing. Like, it's totally disturbing for the viewer. You can totally tell that he is in absolute distress and agony.
Are you talking about when he said, like, I was out?
When I was out, and then when he comes back and his eyes are rolling around, and, like, I mean, the camera's, like, going in a circle around him. Like, it's amazing.
You know, another freak out he had in that was smaller, but but was really good was when he was freaking out on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good piece of acting. Like, he really got vicious with that.
Like, I'm surprised if he didn't actually hurt himself in the process.
He very well might have. I'd believe that.
He might have. But
Anyway.
it was good.
We did good, guys. Cultober.
We did it!
When does this come out in the mix? Because, full disclosure, we're recorded hell of ahead right now.
Well, we have to.
We must.
Because Cult of Lore will never be.
So this is the third release. We got Scream, The Descent, and then 1408.
All right.
So we're right in the middle of October, folks. We're halfway through.
Can you smell it? So nice.
Can you smell the pumpkin spice?
I go to Vegas next weekend.
So Vegas viewers.
Yeah, me too.
In October, that is.
Yeah. Yes. Meet Mike at the airport. Let him know how much you love his stuff. We'll send you his flight itinerary here in the next hour.
We'll post it.
Not a chance I meet anyone in Vegas that would know me.
No.
0%.
Do we have any Vegas viewers?
All right, that is a dare. Michael has $10 cash for the first person that walks up to him at the airport in Las Vegas and says, "Hey, I know you from Cultober."
I will provide him the $10.
I mean, I'll pay the $10 if that happens. I might give him 20. It's not going to happen. I could say 1,000, but
and you get a Cult Talk Net button because we still have buttons, right?
I guess I could take a button. I don't know. Just
wait. Are you allowed to take a button on a plane? It's a needle.
We know places where he can hide a button.
No.
They
so thanks for tuning in for Cultober, guys, before I get signed up for more shit. Hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying Call to Campbell, Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Woo!
Your second one of this month comes out next week, I believe.
Yeah.
In accordance to this. I think that's the Oceans one.
The Oceans one, and then we do also have Cultober.
Oh, you have that's right. You do.
This is actually a pretty heavy Cult Talks Conspiracy month. It's not typically like this. So.
Yeah. And we're canceling right after this next episode. No, we're not.
No, we're not. I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. I think so far the first two have come out, possibly the third. I'm not going to say what those are just in case, but I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. I hope it's been an excellent cherry on top of Cultober.
Then we have Cult of Lore going on also this month. A couple of special episodes this month.
Yep. We got, you've already probably done.
Yep. They listened to the werewolves at this point.
Werewolves at this one. And then we're going to follow it up with Event Horizon as it fits into the 40K universe. And if all still works out the way we planned, there will be a special. This is the first time you're hearing of it. It's way late, but that's okay. There should probably be a special Cult of Lore drop on Halloween night.
That's exciting.
If we hold our mouths just right, we should be able to do this correctly.
I haven't heard of this, so I'm very excited.
Right.
That's exciting. I can't wait.
And I'm on no other podcasts yet.
Yet.
You're
I don't have my own podcast yet.
You're on The Descent, so they heard you last week.
I don't have my own podcast yet.
Right. We're getting her onto the porno show
Yet.
and the furries.
I may.
Is she going to be a viewer? Or is she going to be reviewing the podcast?
I'm going to be
She's going to be reviewing her performance. Yes.
I'm going to be a full person on this,
The furries?
No.
See, when
the
you
porn one.
We've gone off the
Oh.
rails. So yeah, we got Call to Campbell every Monday this month. You've already heard 2 episodes by the time you get to this point. We have Call to Lore, Call to Toxic Conspiracy. Next week you have where the fuck am I? Oh, the Halloween tree comes out next week.
I am super fucking excited for that.
That's awesome.
God damn. I've seen it by now, although I haven't seen it yet. That's right, people. We're in that type of time loop. But I can't wait. I'm fucking excited.
It's exciting. And we have the book also. So we'll all be reading the book and watching the movie. So we'll get to reference
compare and
both.
contrast.
Yes,
Yep.
it's
And
super exciting.
Then the week after that, we have Sundown.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about that one.
I don't think I've watched that. And I
I
don't think
have
I'm
not.
on it either.
I am.
You are? Yeah,
I'm-
you signed up for every
I am
Cultober.
riding this Cultober train the whole time.
Are you on all the Call to Campbells also for this month or just the specials?
Don't you put that juju on me.
Oh, okay. And then on
If it doesn't have the Cultober label on it, I am not required to be on it.
and then on Halloween itself, we have the watch along of
Beetlejuice. Yeah.
So-
God, I can't wait. I love that baby.
and we're recording that and Halloween tree at the same day this weekend coming.
Fuck yeah, it's gonna be a nice Saturday.
It is such a weird loop for our viewers right now. They're like, it's October, but it's a different time where they're at right now, where they haven't done the thing that they've said they've done. And da-da-da-da-da. I'm sorry, guys. It's Inception over here.
It's a horror movie. It's what's going on over here.
It's October. It's a special
The simple
time.
fact is that we're very busy and we're kind of not all that responsible. So we have to do this shit ahead of time.
Yeah, and we don't have anything to take money from you guys, so we're really doing this out of the kindness of our hearts at this time.
Yeah.
We do it because we love it.
We're doing it because we're broke and we're whores and we want you to pay for our shit. I'm just
You
kidding.
you can go Twitch and do ASMR for that, Ben.
If I'm not allowed to, neither are you.
First
We
of
could
all,
do that. I would do that.
Michael just saw the look on my face. I was like, first of all,
So if anybody wants anybody from
I don't
here,
know what
just
ISMR is.
let us know.
no. See, I have standards and pride and all these things, so I won't be doing that.
So we can't sell your feet pics?
You can't get feet pics.
Bailey, I won't delete them now.
You don't have feet pictures of me.
I do.
No, you don't.
Oh, those are mine.
Okay,
Yes.
hold on. Don't move. Anyway, thanks for joining us for Cultober, everyone.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed 14.8. Look out for the rest of the month. And
Cult Talk at Cult Talk Net on all the social medias. Ty was so awesome and made it super easy for you guys. There's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I believe there's a Reddit up at this point, but it is at Cult Talk Net all the way across the board. Like, follow, subscribe.
If you follow us on
share.
YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up and the bell button. Put it on all instead of personalized because YouTube is a motherfucker that way.
if you find us on Instagram, check out the link tree. It'll lead you to everywhere. You can listen to all the things. If you find our stickers around your town, because we have little QR code stickers. You can
Scan them. They won't give you herpes.
I will not guarantee no herpes out of scanning of a QR code. So thanks for joining us. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.